Hello everyone, my name is Thomas Abel, and I'm the team lead for our computer science capstone project spanning the winter and spring terms of 2022. Our project is called the Amba Farmer's Voice game and is a video game meant to be played on Android phones. The Amba Farmer's Voice is an organization dedicated to educating the people of Cameroon on how to farm organically. It is led by Isaac Zama, originally from Cameroon and now living on the east coast of the United States. Mr. Isaac has dedicated his life to helping people learn a valuable skill that helps both from a financial standpoint as a career and as a simple way to feed oneself and their community. Our game is meant to be an educational game, allowing anyone to try out organic farming techniques that the Amba Farmer's Voice television show teaches in a simulated environment. As farming has become less popular in Cameroon, Isaac hopes that the game will help inspire more young people to take up farming as a career. Here's the demo. Let's get started. So we start out here on the farm. I'll pick up this hoe and this seed and hoe the earth and just plant the seed. I only had one seed though, so let's go into the shop and go to the seed section and buy some more seeds. Now I can buy more than one, so we'll buy that much. You can see it will decrement this from our account balance. Let's go back, and it's not there, so we'll have to go to our inventory and equip it. Once we have it equipped, we can till the earth again and start planting our crops. They have to be far enough away from each other. And there we go. I ran out of seeds. Now, when you plant the plants, they need to be watered. So we pick up this bucket of water and splash some water on them. We can refill the bucket here. Let's drop that. Now, normally the plants take a while to grow. You can see it needs 100 days, and we can increase the speed of the time, but we don't have enough time to wait 100 days for that. Now these plants, grew a lot faster, so we can harvest these right away and pick up the fruit that they leave behind, and we just put them in those crates. Now as time passes, their status can change depending on what you give them, water, nutrients. So you have to wash them and make sure they're good. Now those fruits we picked up are in our house inventory, and to sell them we just go back to the shop, go to sell, and sell everything we picked up. And it'll sell the max quantity, we'll get that much money from it, and there we go. Now we can also buy some animals. Let's buy a couple pigs here. Let's buy 5 of them. And take a look, there they are. And that's the game. Just grow some plants, grow some animals, and sell them at the market so you can grow some more. Thanks.
Hi, my name's Jacob. Major currently implemented features include the planting and harvesting of crops, the raising of livestock, the purchase and sale of equipment and supplies, water and soil management, and a date and time system. Players can purchase and plant seeds and till and water the soil to help them grow. The soil tracks water and nutrient levels, letting the player know how their crops are doing. Here are some screenshots showing the marketplace interface and purchasing some pigs. Market items are organized into 3 categories: tools, seeds, and livestock. The player can select which items to add to their cart and in what quantities. Tools and seeds appear in player inventories when purchased, and animals are placed in the corresponding shelter for their species. At the moment, we just have pigs in the game, but they'll eat and drink from the shelter troughs and grow over time as long as they're fed, with the ultimate goal of selling them when they hit a certain weight. The water system, shown here, allows the player to collect water and urine into buckets, which can then be used to water and fertilize soil, resulting in higher crop yields. Our date and time system keeps track of in-game time and allows the player to control the speed at which time flows. The time system is used by plants and animals to track growth and trigger other certain events. Additional features include a touchscreen UI and controls, player inventory and finances, and a trivia minigame. Here are some screenshots showing those. And with the limited time we've had, there are lots of things we weren't able to get to, so future features we'd like to implement are shown here.
For the architecture of our project, we We have the Unity architecture and the project architecture, of course. For the Unity architecture, we were able to take advantage of Unity's built-in classes that are recommended to be used when scripting, such as the game object, monobehavior, and scriptable object. Every module in our project was able to take advantage of the scriptable object, especially. For the project architecture, we have the base and the base module and the submodules. The base module includes the interaction, inventory, and equipment, where interactions between game objects are handled and inventory are available for buying and selling. The submodules are, of course, the datetime, terrain, water, user interface, and animal, as well as plant and financial modules. As you can see on the diagram, the player can be interacting with any of the modules at any given time, such as using equipments like hose, the bucket, and it can also pick up fruits.
Thanks for Daniel. Hi, I'm Huidong. I'm going to talk about development process. We basically have 5 steps in this process. First of all, ideation. We read the project documentation and watch videos from farmers. By doing this, we have a general picture of what we are going to do. Then we found that Unity was the best tool we could use, so we decided to use Unity as our development tool. We spent 2 weeks at this stage. Second, final definition. We had a meeting with the sponsor Isaac to discuss what he exactly wanted. Then we gave our advice as the developers to adjust what we could give to him. After the meeting, we found that the features we could implement. We meet Isaac twice in order to make the final definition. After that, we came to prototyping. I made a demo for developing. We will assign our own module. We made our own module feature documentation. On this stage, we spent 1 week to make our own modules feature documentation. Fourthly, at the implementation stage, we implement our own module based on feature documentation. In this process, we iterate the feature to make sure it could meet the final needs. For example, we had a 3D model first for the development, then change it to 2D sprites. This is the main stage we could encounter. In fact, we spent almost a whole Capstone tool to do this. Even after we finish one version, we need to adjust the module along with the process. Finally, the end product. We made sure all modules were working properly. In order to make sure the whole game can work properly, we tested on the real phone using Unity Remote 5. Then we fixed all the issues that appear on the test. It's a whole process we went through. Then we'll give it to Mohammed.
Thank you, Huidong, for elaborating on our development process. And hello, everyone. I'm Mohamed-Amin, and I'll quickly summarize how we split up our work. So to get started, we decided to split up our game into 9 necessary modules crucial for the functionality of the game. We were assigned our modules based on what interested us the most. So let me quickly go over who contributed to each module. Tom worked on the base and financials, so that these included the player and camera movement, player input, and managing the in-game market for buying and selling tools and or crops. I focused on the UI for our game, so that includes the shop, phone, inventories, trivia, and the plant information. The controls module had Huidong, me, and Tom working on it, and those were the joystick and 4 buttons that we saw earlier. Huidong had the most of the responsibilities with this module, while I worked on incorporating the images, and Tom helped with input system issues. And Jacob worked on the animals module, Sandy focused on the plant module, Huidong worked on the water, Daniel worked on the time and weather system, and Felina worked on the terrain. This was a general overview of our responsibilities. And before I go, I would like to give a special thanks to everyone, because even though the majority of us were sick, for a while we continued to fight through it and continue to contribute to our game. So thanks again, and I'll pass it to Felina for the unexpected event.
Thank you, Mohammed. My name is Felina, and I'll be going over some of the unexpected events that occurred throughout our journey in developing the game, as well as the ways that we managed to overcome them. From the start, our goal as a team was to transform the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire-esque game that Isaac initially wanted into a simulation game. Near the end of our development process, Isaac stated that although he liked where our game was going, he still decided to have aspects of his original idea incorporated into the game. We initially had his idea incorporated as a school where the player could learn and test their knowledge with questions about agriculture. However, due to the lack of time, we were only able to implement a basic trivia system. This would be something that future teams would need to work on and further develop, such as by adding more questions to the question bank. Despite our goal to create a farming simulator game, many of our team members initially had little experience with Unity or C#. This slowed our team's development process down a little bit, but thanks to Tom's guidance as well as the resources and helpful tutorials shared by a few of our team members, we were able to begin programming soon enough. Our difficulties in learning Unity and C#, as well as the overall development of the game, was compounded by the fact that nearly every member of the team, if not all the members, got sick at least once during the development process. This made it difficult to have regular meetings with everyone present, and was especially difficult to deal with when multiple team members were sick at the same time. We worked around this by having individual meetings outside of the team meetings to catch people up. Additionally, Tom made weekly announcements to keep our development and immediate goals as clear and organized as possible. Finally, we ran into the problem of the visual aspect of the game, specifically the sprites and textures of the game. While doing the initial coding, we used basic shapes as a stand-in. However, as we got to the later stages of our project, more complex visual elements were necessary. For example, the various growth stages of the plants needed to be visually distinguishable to the player. We initially planned to outsource this by getting the graphic design department to create sprites for us, but lack of time and resources led us to try and create our own where we could. Several members of the team learned to use graphic design software to create some of the sprites and textures that you've seen in our previous slides.
My name is Isaac Zama, and I'm the sponsor of the Amba Farmer's Voice game app that the students designed. The process was very, very interactive. We had several Zoom meetings to clarify the topic or the project, and each time the students went through any iteration, they sent it to me, and I took a look and I gave them feedback, and they improved upon it. One of the things which I like most about the app is that at the end of each topic or program that is produced, there is a question and answer session at the end, which is very, very important, which is what we actually wanted. So I'm very happy with what the students design. So I'm really happy with it, and I hope that it will work as intended. Even if it doesn't, I'm hoping that another team would take over and continue the project. Let me thank the university for giving me this opportunity, and the students for all the hard work that they put into designing this. Thank you very much.
I learned how to estimate how long it would take for aspects to be completed. I took a major part of development in creating the base module that the other modules worked off of. And I had to design the game to be educational and to model real-world farming while balancing those aspects to make it a fun game. On top of that, I had to make sure that the game met Isaac's standards and met his educational goals. I learned a lot about how to design a project and how to manage a team in creating that vision.
The most valuable thing I've learned from this is how to work on a project as a team. I don't think any of my previous classes touched on that much, so it's interesting to figure out how to do that and make everything work together.
Throughout this project, I was able to get an introduction to the powerful Unity scripting classes and their functionalities. One of the main lessons taken from this project is how critical test-driven and modular development is for a project of this size.
I learned Unity skills, especially the interaction between game objects and managing and controlling them in a uniform way. For teamwork, communication is core. The clearer communication, the easier the work gets done.
I learned how to use Unity, which was great because I've always been interested in game development. However, the most important thing that I learned from all of this is just understanding how to work with a team and the importance of communication, planning, and organization that must come along with it in order to ensure that no one is out the loop and that we are all on track so that we can meet our deadline.
Most of the classes that I've taken in the past focus more on creating small programs individually in order to learn more about the programming language or the basics of creating a good program. However, this project not only taught me how to use new tools, it also taught me how to develop a program from the ground up, going from the planning to the actual implementation of the code.
This project highlighted the importance of informed and active communication between teammates and the power that it has to accelerate a project forward. Additionally, I learned that it is very important to not underestimate the enormous amount of work and skill that goes into visual elements, art, and design. As a team, we would like to thank Isaac Zama and the Amba Farmer's Voice for allowing us to collaborate on this exciting project. We gained invaluable experience and were able to produce a project that we are excited about. A GitHub repository of our code and the website for Amba Farmer Voice's webpage and YouTube channel can be found below. Thank you for attending our presentation of our computer science capstone project, the Amba Farmer's Voice video game.